Just kidding. I don't know.
What's rolling around in here, man?
Man, every time I put add stop on my GPS, hit a gas station, it's always the smallest gas station with no diesel at it. Somebody help. What do you guys use on your GPS to always get diesel when you got a big fat trailer behind you? I found this one all on my own, no GPS. Anyways, we're going to work on the Corvette. I never do intros at gas stations, so this is weird. Boys are getting some breakfast at A&W. It's gonna be a good day of getting the Corvette running with a bass tune. I'm ready for the dyno, suspension-wise, drivetrain-wise, transmission, all that stuff. Adding fluids, making sure we're good to go. So that's all I got. Good spot. Just welded something there.
Have to. There's no room underneath the intake.
Oh, it's all the wiring?
Wiring. Fuel lines, coolant lines. It's a disaster.
Oh, the coolant lines are under there.
No, the like steam port lines.
Got it.
So pretty much, you know the box you made for the starter? If you would have brought that back like another 8 inches, and then that might be enough room to move. But then also the way your drive shaft hoop is set up with the bolts buried underneath your seat, can't.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what you meant by that. I thought we made it pretty easy.
Yeah, maybe when the seat was out of the car. So there's not enough room to come straight back with the drive shaft hoop and all that stuff right there. And your drive shaft just barely sneaks in. And then I would take where the shifter hole is and
yeah, like we cut behind on the S14, then we put a bolt in place. So you take the plate off and then you can slide it back.
Yeah. And then because what we had to do is take the whole shifter off.
What is this?
Start button.
That's your kill switch.
Okay.
Yeah, just for something.
A lot of stuff there, eh?
You know what? We're just going with the whole like image of this car and just ram a bunch of stuff in there and we'll be okay. But yeah, like everything's all. Chris has just been going ham at it.
So I've started to sheath up everything there just while I was trying to get access to the front while those guys were working. So it's starting to get dressed. It cleans up really nicely. I've already got both shock pots in. I just have to tap in the CAN network for your tire temp sensors. And then I can just button up everything in the rear.
Ooh, that'd be busted. That's Shorkey driving the car too hard.
Damn.
So yeah, this is what happens when you run a stock transmission behind 600 wheel of an LS3 and a C5.
Yeah.
Plans are to change that up now.
So this happened
at Erie. We fixed it the next week and we went back down to Indiana.
Really?
Yeah.
And then how did you do that one?
We won.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that. That's it.
It was a little tiny comp, but hey, it was fun.
Anything, yeah. That's sick.
Yeah.
What's up, man? Unloading the stuff. Chris. We need this, but bigger, but.
You like it?
Yeah, it's wrong color, but I'll still take it.
We're working on this.
Thank you. Because there's already 3 people working out of our stuff. Yeah, just go up and around.
Kyle and I are just helping wherever we can. I'm currently making mounts for these infrared tire temperature sensors. The mount is probably going to be redone with some kind of a 3D printed version of this, but for right now we just need a very simple mount. So some sheet metal, some screws. Luckily Josh has a bin of like the smallest screws I've ever seen, down to M3 for a metric and a 4-40 for imperial. This is a 4-40, really small. I'm just making a spot on this plate here that's gonna line it up with the middle of the tire, and I already have it kind of mocked up on this, just loose. I want it at a downward angle so that any kind of rubber that hits it is gonna kind of brush off. It's a concept. If we stop reading the temperature, we're gonna know that obviously the sensor's covered, and we're gonna have to try some different things. I'm not 100% sure if this can read through Lexan or not, but if it can, we'll probably make a guard of some kind. We're just doing this all for the dyno to make sure that nothing's hanging and that Kyle's finishing up some brake line stuff. We have to do all the fluids: water, brake fluid, power steering fluid, diff oil, transmission oil, engine oil. We gotta do all this stuff while the boys are finishing up wiring and the oil system plumbing. So we're making good progress, and hopefully we'll be firing up and doing systems checks later on today. Peek that Mike GT custom titanium sear coated exhaust though. This is the exhaust for the entire car, actually. Right from the front to the, just straight where the diff, this is just past where the diff starts. So it's gonna be great for temperature control. It sits really close to our drive shaft shop, carbon fiber drive shaft, so we gotta keep it well protected from heat. Things are moving.
Whoa! Yeah, final stages, getting the intake ready to go. Pan's bolted on for the air filter. Putting the IAT in now, working on that and the map sensor. We'll be doing final install and intake.
So today we're bleeding brakes.
Massive rev limiter.
Okay, go ahead.
This system is pretty unique, so we have to unbolt the caliper and flip it up. Because if you see here, what just happened?
Dude! What are you doing?
This is your fault, man. You put it there.
Yeah, I know.
Why would you put it there?
Because I'm bolting up the rear dashboard with those bolts.
I can't believe you done this. If you guys ever bled brakes before, you'll know that the bleeder has to be on top. Jack doesn't know that. I was bleeding your brakes on the Corvette. He cracks the bottom bleeders, and I'm pumping the brakes, and the fluid is just dumping out. I'm like, crack the top ones.
Meanwhile, all the air
Yeah.
just hanging out of the top.
Dude, these brakes are mounted horizontally, and the brake bleeder screws need to be facing up. So, what? What are you laughing at, man?
What do you mean? Define horizontally.
Huh? The brake calipers
What
mounted.
does that mean? When a caliper's mounted horizontally. What do you mean by that?
Horizon is flat. This is flat.
Oh, so the plane.
Chest is flat.
If my chest's flat, what's yours? Yours is convex.
Okay. Okay, it's horizontal. Okay, go ahead.
Dude, why would you interrupt me? So the caliper is mounted flat like this, and the brake bleeders are here. So this caliper is special because it has internal bypasses to each side of the pistons. I actually didn't know that until a couple days ago when I was bleeding Josiah's brakes, and I saw that he had a crossover tube on his stock Corvette brakes, and then he had these ones, and I was confused. I was like, where's the crossover tube? Learned that these are internally crossovered, so that's cool. So you can literally, these calipers are universal. You can have them this way or any which way you can mount them. So they have bleeders on the top and the bottom. What we need to do to bleed these, to get all the air out, is flip them up and actually probably physically remove them all the way, and then put a piece of wood in there and probably get Jack to hold them while I pump up the brakes and use the vacuum bleeder and stuff like that. So
I bet you Josh has a way better vacuum bleeder than this.
oh yeah.
What is that?
Here you go.
That's what they call an industrial vacuum cleaner. And what we have is a
Amateur.
not even. It's a consumer, like an Amazon special.
That? It's a Fisher Price. Just put it back in the trailer box.
This is the emergency one at the
It'll
track.
work eventually.
And then crack that.
Oh, there you go. Oh. Lots of air in it, too. Okay, so we want to dyno the car with the filter, obviously, because this can provide some restrictions as far as horsepower numbers go. So we've got these clips. All of this is from K&N. And if, by the way, there is a horsepower reduction, that's nothing you can do about that because this is the highest flowing filter possible to buy. So with these clips, I'm just going to fasten them to this pan. And I'm going to put them strategically around here so that it gets a good seal. And I'm just going to probably rivet these to the pan so that when I need to take this off, it's just going to be a simple disconnect, and these will all be just sitting on the pan so we can easily work on the throttle body and take it off and do adjustments if we need to. So yeah, that's what I'm going to work on.
Hi, Chris.
Howdy.
What's up?
Just getting plugged into the PDMs for the first time around. Got to go through and convert all my spreadsheets that tell me all my pinouts into actual usable data for the CAN pad and the ECU to actually control. Should be
Anything
fun.
about the wiring process of this thing, how it went?
I mean, definitely the most complicated thing we've done so far. This is a very busy corner of the car. We've got CAN splits on CAN splits. We've got a solid state battery isolator, our Link G4X Extreme, the thermocouple amplifier, power steering controllers, and a couple bulkheads in there, as well as our primary PDM that'll power up the actual ECU and a lot of the main functions. Everything branched out to run our screens, emergency kill switches, power steering adjustment, and our user interface for the CAN keyboard.
That was overwhelming.
That's a mouthful. Yeah.
It gave me a fever.
Now you know how I felt trying to go through all this. It's like, oh god, I have to do this too. Oh god, I have to do this too.
That's thick.
With two C's.
Very little power steering or all the power steering. So
It's just gonna be maxed.
yeah. But like if you're on a track where you want a little bit more driver feedback for whatever reason, then turn it down. I don't know.
I've never heard of that.
I don't know. Some people like a little bit more wrestle than others.
Max, tape it there, zip tie it underneath the dash, and leave it alone.
So you could only get 75% if without this?
Yeah.
Why?
Because it has internal valving that has a default position, and then it uses CAN controls to actually modify the valving.
So the valve is resting at 70% open. Whereas if you crank it all the way up, it'll actually give it the juice to pry it open that much more.
When you shut it off, although probably.
The more you know.
Yeah, 1 second.
Which one's my ground pen?
Hit it here. So
So like it's a full brake light, and then it does its phase.
So the internal check valve's moving, so that's good.
It's the vent.
It's the vent, right? Because you have the thing open, it worked fine.
Yeah,
without-
no, that's good though. Because well, that check valve, when I first put my hand on it, it was pretty sticky.
Yeah.
Hey, look at that, it vented now.
It's doing what it's supposed to do.
Okay, so what was the issue, Josh? Then?
It just wasn't vented. Probably an old tank. Check valve.
Something in here or the check valve here was plugged.
Well, inside the rollover valve, this would have been check valve. I jinxed it. Maybe the vent's not quite big enough.
It's gurgling. Oh. What's coming right back?
Okay, so it's venting, just not venting quick enough now.
So what if you have it in the car and you tried, right?
I
You
tried all the way to the
putting
top.
it to the top.
So this is activating it. It thinks it is, but that's not accepting the signal.